friends! So today I'm here to talk to you about all of the books I want to read in the next 2 months, being May and June. So a TBR video, as it were. So my reading pace and overall reading recently has been really poor in comparison to other years, and I think it's a combination of reasons, but the main one I think is because I have abandoned TBRs and allowed myself to become more of a mood reader. However, because I'm also a very slow reader, my mood changes quicker than my reading pace. So I'm just in this constant state of wanting to read all different kinds of books other than the book that I'm reading. I've started books, I'm reading like 4 or 5 books at the same time. I've got a pile of books that I've started that I haven't finished. So from this moment forward, we are going to bring back, or try to bring back, the monthly TBRs. However, like I said, because my reading pace has been so poor, I think bringing back monthly TBRs are going to be a bit too much for me, expecting myself to read a massive pile of books in the space of a month. Therefore, I'm going to do a bi-monthly TBR, so 2 months and a stack of books, and that gives me more time and more space to read them, and I'm not going to be particularly strict about what I read in what month, except for book club books and read-along books and things like that. So without further ado, let's just get into the books I plan to read in May and June. So I'm going to start off with the book that I'm currently reading, which is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh, and myself and Julia from Shakespeare and Such are buddy reading this for Taurus season, and I'm just over halfway, so I'm on page 163, and really enjoying this. I'm going to use this moment to note quickly that alongside the bi-monthly TBRs, I'm also hopefully going to bring back a sort of bi-monthly wrap-up, and then that makes my reading and my videos a bit more structured. So I don't want to talk too much about this one now, because hopefully it will feature in a bi-monthly wrap-up at the end of June. But this one is a very big TikTok and Instagram and booktube or book community sensation. Lots of people love it, you see it everywhere, and it essentially follows our main character who spends or tries to spend the entire year just sleeping. She speaks to a therapist and gets loads of sort of medication to try and help her just sleep through days upon days upon days, and she gets into like this routine of drinking coffee, sleeping, waking up, drinking coffee, sleeping, waking up. And it's all in an attempt to sort of avoid a lot of her past traumas, but that hasn't really quite come up yet within the main character. But I adore the writing style of this. It's Sally Rooney-esque writing style, very quick and to the point, which I love, like simple and to the point. And I'm just intrigued by a lot of, you know, the themes and concepts that are sort of being shown in this but haven't like been straight out talked about by the characters in this book as of yet. So I am excited to see where the rest of it goes and how it ends, and then obviously talk to you about my final thoughts on it soon. The next 4 books are a book series, and they are the Heartstopper volumes 1 to 4. I of course watched or binged watched season 1 of Heartstopper on Netflix, and it is amazing, and it just got me massively into the mood of rereading the volumes I did have and have previously read, which were volumes 1 to 3, and then I kind of treated myself, and this is a slight spoiler for my birthday book haul, to volume 4 because I hadn't read it or did not own it as of yet. So I do want to, in the month of May, hopefully speed through a reread of the first 3 and then read the 4th one, and hopefully it will just, you know, fill that Heartstopper shaped hole that's in my life now that I've finished the Netflix series. And again, kind of spoiler, I have already reread volumes 1 to 3. I reread them last night and this morning, so I have just got volume 4 to finish. So hopefully I can do that, like I say, hopefully today when I've finished filming this video. The next book on my list specifically for May is Hamlet by William Shakespeare, because this is the May book pick for the I Should Have Read That book club. I am of course so excited to be rereading this one. It is my favourite Shakespeare play, and I will be rereading this second-hand copy that I bought while on a really amazing book meet-up trip with Shah last year. Was it last year? It must have been last year. But we had such a great time, and I saw this in a secondhand bookshop and bought it for when I reread the book so I could annotate it. So that's what I'm very excited about doing this month, rereading it, annotating it, and then obviously doing a live show discussion on my favourite Shakespeare play. The next book that I would at least love to start reading in May is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi, and this is a proof copy that Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe very kindly sort of selected me to win a sort of giveaway copy of this, because there was 2 copies, and obviously Olivia got one, and then she asked me if I would like the other one, and I'm still like, it's been a while, but I'm still in shock that I have this. But the release date for this is the 24th of May, so that's why, like I said, I would at least like to start it in May. It is an adult romance novel, and it follows our main character, Faye, whose love of her life died sort of 5 years ago, and it follows her in the present day, and her friend Joy basically convinces her that she should start dating again. And I believe like the dating aspect of this is going to be sort of high stakes rich people dating, because it includes like rooftop parties, being whisked away to tropical islands, and it's got the romance aspect of the one person that Faye does fall for is the one person she cannot have. I don't know in what aspect, but I cannot wait to start reading this because it just sounds so delicious and juicy, and I'm really, really excited. So definitely hoping to start this one in May. The next book I'm prioritising in May and June, it's one I'm hoping to read throughout both months, is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, because I am reading this as part of the Bronte Along that is hosted by several lovely co-hosts. I will leave all of the information in the description box for you if you are interested in following along. I didn't end up reading or rereading Jane Eyre in, was it January or February, one of the previous other months this year, that I intended to, just because so many other things happened. But I'm so glad that the read along for this one is happening across 2 months, because it gives me a lot more space in terms of falling behind and catching up if I need to. But I've actually already started this one. I'm only on page 22, but I'm already kind of obsessed with the characters and the writing and the concept of like what's going to be happening in this one. So I do want to, like I say, pick it up periodically throughout the 2 months. This will be my first Anne Bronte novel. I have read a Charlotte and an Emily Bronte, so I'm very excited to finish the trio of the Bronte sisters by finally reading an Anne Bronte novel. But this one actually follows our main character Gilbert, so it's not a female protagonist, which I find very, very interesting. But Gilbert starts to fall for a mysterious widow called Helen, who is the new tenant of Wildfell Hall. And that's essentially all I know, but it's enough to get me so intrigued and excited about this one. And the last book on my pile of books for May and June, this one I specifically want to read in June, is Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason, as this is our I Should Have Read That book club book pick for June, as we did a poll on Twitter and Instagram with all of the Women Prize for Fiction shortlisted books, and Sorrow and Bliss won the poll. So I'm very excited to be reading a book that other people have voted for in June for the book club. And actually this is the one that was on the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist that I was most intrigued by. This is one that feels like it's right up my street. It's a contemporary fiction novel sort of surrounding mental health, and it's supposedly very sad but also very funny. But because I don't know that much about the synopsis, I am going to read the blurb for you. So everyone tells Martha she is clever and beautiful, a brilliant writer who has been loved every day of her adult life by one man, her husband, Patrick. So why is everything broken? Maybe Martha is just someone who finds it harder to be alive than most people. Or maybe, as she has long believed, there is something wrong with her. Forced to return to her childhood home to live with her dysfunctional bohemian parents, Martha has one last chance to find out whether a life is ever too broken to fix, or whether maybe by starting over she will get to write a better ending for herself. Everything about that just sounds so up my street. I'm so excited for this one, and I hope I love it. as much as everyone else is loving it currently. So those are all the books that I am prioritising for June and July. Please let me know if there's any in here that you have read and absolutely adored to get me even more excited about reading them. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye! Yay! That was so exciting, that was so exciting. I filmed a video, woohoo! Oh, I was recording myself, lol.